everyone, welcome back to GK Today. I am Sana and in this video we'll cover the current affairs. Before we move ahead, let me inform you that these questions are part of our daily 20 MCQ series 2022 in the GK Today's Android application. So if you are looking for the text version of these questions and their explanations along with the interactive quiz, you may consider joining our daily 20 MCQ series in the GK Today Android application. In this course in app, you get daily 20 MCQs, a fortnightly quiz, a monthly revision document, and also category-wise revision e-books that are optimized for reading on mobile. You are also able to access all archives of questions from January 2020 onwards. And let me tell you one more thing. If you want the Hindi version of this session, you can refer to our former channel named as GK Today. The link has been given in the description box from where you can reach to. So without taking much of your time, let's get started.
Good morning everyone, welcome back to GK Today, and today we'll be discussing most important MCQs for 17th of June 2022. Let's start. As per the innovation policy for Indian Railways, what is the maximum limit of grant provided to the innovators? So Minister of Railways Ashwini Vaishnaw has launched innovation policy for Indian Railways to encourage the participation of the startups. And also it is referred as Startups for Railways, and this policy seeks to provide up to 1.5 crore rupees to the innovators on equal sharing basis. So Indian Railway will support in the form of 50% capital grant, assured market, scale and ecosystem. Okay. Next is, which state has clinched the top position in Khelo India Youth Games 2021. So the fourth edition of Khelo India Youth Games 2021 concluded in Panchkula, and the host Haryana grabbed the top position in the medal tally with 52 gold, 39 silver and 46 bronze medals. And Maharashtra was at the second position while Karnataka was at third place. So the fourth edition of Khelo India Youth Games saw the participation of athletes from over 36 states and union territories competing in 25 different sports. Okay, so first was Haryana, second was Maharashtra and the third was Karnataka. Next is, which state or union territory launched farmer registration and unified beneficiary information system, that is fruits software? So Karnataka government has launched the software for Aadhaar based single window registration for the schemes to provide easy access to the farmers to benefit distribution under various government scheme. Okay, so important thing is, what is the full form of fruits acronym? And this software basically facilitates single registration using an Aadhaar card and Karnataka's Bhumi digitized land record system. Okay, so the state departments of agriculture, horticulture, animal husbandry, revenue, food, civil supplies and the fisheries are covered under this initiative. Fine. So this fruit software is a project of Karnataka state. Next is, Agnipath scheme, which was launched recently, is associated with reforms in which field? So the Ministry of Defence launched Agnipath, which is a major defence policy reform for the recruitment of soldiers, sailors and airmen into the Indian Army, Indian Navy and Indian Air Force. So the personnel recruited under the scheme on short-term contractual basis will be called Agni Veers. Fine. So of the 50,000 recruited annually, 25% will be allowed to continue for 15 years under the permanent commission to reduce the defense pension bill, and 30% of monthly salary of Agni Veers will be set aside along with the equal government contribution under the Seva Nidhi program. Okay, so Agnipath scheme is basically related to defense sector. Next is, Asia's largest brackish water lagoon is located in which Indian state or the Union Territory? So the Chilka Lake in the state of Odisha is Asia's largest brackish water lagoon, and according to a census conducted by Chilka Development Authority in collaboration with the Fishing Cat project, the lake has total 176 fishing cat. Okay, so this is the world's longest running research and conservation project on fishing cats, which began in 2010, and it is currently underway in 2 states in India, West Bengal and Odisha. Fine. So West Bengal declared fishing cats the state animal in 2012, and the fishing cat was announced as Chilka Lake's ambassador in 2020. Fine. Can you tell me which state has recently declared blue duke as its state butterfly? Do let me know in the comments. Next is, which country was the top buyer of Indian rice during the pandemic? So China emerged as the top buyer of Indian rice during the pandemic, and it has imported 16.34 lakh metric tons, or you can say 7.7% of India's total rice export in financial year 2021 to 22. So during this time period, India's total rice export, both basmati and non-basmati, was 212.10 LMT, and out of China's total rice import from India, nearly 97% was broken rice, which has seen a rise in demand from that country, right? So India used to export broken rice mostly to the African countries earlier. Okay, so now China is the top buyer of Indian rice during the COVID-19 pandemic. Next is, language model for dialogue applications is the chatbot of which technology company? So language model for dialogue application is the artificial intelligence based chatbot of Google. And recently the chatbot was claimed to have become sentient, which means to have the ability to use senses to feel. And this chatbot is claimed to converse the similar to human beings on subjects like religion, consciousness and robotics. Fine. So you can also be asked that what is the full form of LaMDA? Don't forget it. Next is, which country overtook Saudi Arabia to become India's second largest supplier of the crude oil in May 2022? So as per the recent report, Russia overtook Saudi Arabia to become India's second largest supplier of crude oil last month. And the average daily rate of Russian oil export to India stood at 8,19,000 barrels as compared to 2,77,000 barrels that was exported in the month of April. So Indian buyers account for 18% of Russian crude oil export, and Russian crude has been trading at a discount reaching to $30 to Brent since the start of the war in Ukraine. Fine. Next is, a 1.4 kilometers cable stayed bridge has been constructed across the Chambal River in which state? So Union Minister of Road Transport and Highways, Nitin Gadkari, announced that construction of a cable stayed bridge across Chambal River on the Kota bypass of East-West corridor in the state of Rajasthan has been completed. And this 1.4 kilometers long cable stayed bridge across Chambal is built with a total capital expenditure of 214 crore rupees. And this bridge was also the part of the Kota bypass and East-West corridor from Porbandar in the state of Gujarat to Silchar from the state Assam. Okay. So the cables of the bridge are aerodynamic in nature and they have the ability to be neutral during the storms as well. Okay. Next question. Which state government has passed a bill replacing governor with chief minister as chancellor of the state-run universities? So the West Bengal Assembly passed a bill for making the chief minister the chancellor of universities run by the state government, and with this it has replaced the governor from the position. Okay, so states including Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra have also recently reduced the authority of governor as chancellor, and the governor may give his assent to the bill or withhold assent or send it back to the assembly for reconsideration. But if the assembly passes the bill again with or without amendments and sends it back, then the government has to give his assent, right? Can you tell me which article of the Indian Constitution deals with the thing that if the assembly decided to pass the bill again, then the governor has to sign that particular bill? Do let me know in the comments if you really remember. Next is, India recently conducted a coordinated patrol exercise with which country on the Andaman Sea and the Straits of Malacca? So the 38th India-Indonesia coordinated patrol between the India and the Indonesian Navy is being conducted in the Andaman Sea and the Straits of Malacca. And the Navy units of Andaman and Nicobar Command represent India, and this is the first post-pandemic CORPAT between the two countries, and the two navies have been carrying out CORPAT along their international maritime boundary line since 2002, right? Next is, Pradhan Mantri National Apprenticeship Mela is associated with which union ministry? So Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship will organize the Pradhan Mantri National Apprenticeship Mela every month. And at the end of a candidate's training period, they will be awarded an apprenticeship certificate which is acknowledged by National Council for Vocational Education and Training. So the primary objective of this Mela is to encourage the hiring of apprentices from the cities, and a credit bank concept will be introduced with a depository of various credits accumulated by the learners. Fine. So this Mela is related to the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. Next is, which racing driver won the Azerbaijan Formula 1 Grand Prix title in 2022? So Max Verstappen from Red Bull won the Azerbaijan Formula 1 Grand Prix to extend his F1 championship lead over Ferrari's Charles Leclerc. And after clinching the title, Max Verstappen became the most successful driver in the Red Bull of all the time. And now he has 66 podiums for Red Bull and is tied 9th for the most race wins, sharing the place with Jim Clark and Niki Lauda. Okay. Only thing you have to remember is Azerbaijan F1 Grand Prix has been won by Max Verstappen. Next is, which country passed a bill for creation of National Museum of Asian Pacific American History and Culture? So US President Joe Biden signed a bill to establish a commission to study the creation of a National Museum of Asian Pacific American History and Culture in Washington, D.C. And this move comes amid a push to mitigate the long prevailing anti-Asian hate crisis. And Washington, D.C. also houses National Museum of the American Latino and the National Museum of African American History and Culture. Fine. Next is, which tennis player, none of the big three, became the world #1 men's player in the ATP ranking? So Russian tennis player Daniil Medvedev became the world #1 men's player in the ATP rankings for a second time in his career, replacing the 20-time Grand Slam champion Novak Djokovic. And Alexander Zverev was at the second position and Novak Djokovic was at third place. So for the last 19 years actually, the big three means Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer were occupying the first two spots. Okay. Next is, when is the Elimination of Child Labour Week observed in India? So National Commission for Protection of Child Right is observing Elimination of Child Labour Week in honor of World Day Against Child Labour, which is observed on 12th of June in 75 places from 12th of June to 20th of June. And NCPCR has developed a draft SOP on the rescue and post-rescue of child labor and rescue operation in 75 places where children are involved in labor work across the country shall be conducted during this week with the help of authorities like State Commission, district authorities, child welfare committees, etc. Okay. So these were the most important current affairs and news from today. And now we'll move to our revision section. First of all, we'll see some of the important international current affairs. Which country has passed the Turban Day Act to celebrate Turban Day every year? So the Legislative Assembly of Manitoba in the country, Canada, has passed the Turban Day Act to celebrate 13th of April as the Turban Day across the province. And this act officially recognizes turban as a part of Canada's diversity and multiculturalism. So it explains that the turban is not only a religious symbol of faith for the Sikh community, but also important for their respect and dignity. Fine. So this month of April is celebrated as Sikh Heritage Month across Canada since 2019. Fine. Which country was the top buyer of Indian rice during the pandemic? Just we have seen it. Answer would be China. Which state inaugurated the country's first oncology laboratory for comprehensive cancer diagnostic services? So the first oncology laboratory of India would be set up in the state of Kerala. Scientists have used satellite data to detect a major offshore leak of methane from which country? Answer would be Mexico. Which country passed a red flag bill to prevent the mass shooting? This country is USA. Which is the first country in the world to require that a warning be printed on every cigarette? So Canada has decided to print a warning on every cigarette. So we have discussed these questions in a detailed manner in the previous lecture. So if anyone wants to cover it thoroughly, then he or she can refer to the previous lecture. Okay. Now let's see some of the important things that were in news. Manas National Park, which was seen in the news recently, is located in which Indian state? So this national park lies in the state of Assam. And Assam has total 7 national parks, which are these: Orang National Park, Manas, Dibru-Sakhova, Dihing Patkai, Kaziranga, Raimona, and Nameri. Right? And Orang National Park was also in news because the state government of Assam has decided to increase the area of this national park to 3 times. Avni Likhara and Sri Harsha Devreddy, who were seen in the news recently, are associated with which sport? So they are related to shooting. And Avni Likhara has recently won the Parachuting World Cup in France. And Amelia from Poland has won the silver medal in the same championship. And Anna Norman from Sweden has clinched the bronze in the same event. Okay. Da Vinci mission, which was seen in the news recently, is associated with which country? First of all, what is the full form of Da Vinci? The Deep Atmosphere Venus Investigation of Noble Gases, Chemistry and Imaging. Okay, and this mission is related to USA. You can also be asked that Da Vinci mission is related to which planet? Answer would be Venus. Buxar Tiger Reserve, which was seen in the news recently, is located in which state or the Union Territory? So this tiger reserve lies in the state of West Bengal. Valmiki Tiger Reserve, which was seen in the news recently, is located in which state or the Union Territory? Answer is Bihar. Ella Vanil Valarivan, Shreya Agarwal and Ramita, seen in the news, are associated with which sport? They are also related to shooting. Actually, this is the India's women's shooting team, which has bagged the gold medal for India in 10 meters air rifle women's team event at the ISSF World Cup 2022. And this championship took place in Baku, which is the capital of Azerbaijan. Okay. Now let's see some of the important states that were in news. Which state or union territory has announced a joint venture company with NLC India for setting up a 1 gigawatt solar plant? This is the state Assam. Which is the first state in India to implement the National E-Vidhan application? Answer would be Nagaland. India's first display fabrication unit is said to be established in which state? So India's very first display fabrication unit is to be set up in Hyderabad. Which state or union territory is the venue of the meeting of the Western Zonal Council in 2022? So venue of this meeting is Daman and Diu. Which state ranked the highest in National E-Governance Service Delivery Assessment as per the report? This is the state Kerala, and Jammu and Kashmir assessed for the very first time in this ranking, and it was ranked highest among the union territories, while Meghalaya and Nagaland are the leading state portals among the northeastern and the hilly states. And overall score of the state Tamil Nadu increased the most in 2021 if we compare it with 2019. Okay. Now let's start with today's quiz. Here on the slide you can see 5 questions which have been taken from the past 2-3 days current affairs. Pause the video and try to solve each of these questions. And at the end of the lecture, do not forget to share your scores in the comment section. So please be honest and do not cheat with yourself. So that's it for today. I hope you have liked the session. These were the important news and events from today, and we will meet again tomorrow with some more important current affairs. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching, and please do not forget to subscribe to GK Today. With this, Minusat Sana signing off.